If you happen to live in the modern day and don't live in some kind of internetless cave, then you have most probably heard of Mr. Beast. At this point, he is probably the greatest known YouTuber, other than perhaps PewDiePie, but he's not the subject of the video. Special thank yous to YouTube members Sebastian Dorendorf, I hope I pronounced your name right, I'm sorry, and Holly Miller, and to patrons NQS and McPuffin. Thank you so much, guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Blue, and today I'm going to be taking a look at why I think Mr. Beast's fame is actually a really good thing. So for those of you that somehow don't know who he is, it's worth going back in time a little, and this actually does involve PewDiePie a little. So for a long time, Mr. Beast's entire channel was built up doing incredibly over-the-top videos, essentially relying on putting as big a number in the title as possible to pull in views, and it was working. One of the things he was initially famous for was over-the-top pranks and experiments, filling his friends' backyard with insert item here, doing insert task for insert time, that kind of thing. He also donated a lot of money to Twitch streamers and YouTubers and other various people along the way. But this was one of those, it's nice, but I've seen it all before type deals, because that was a popular subject on YouTube at the time. I think you couldn't go anywhere without seeing a channel talking about, I donated to some homeless people, and it's just them giving chump change to some dude. Mr. Beast was a bit more elaborate than that, however. A few years ago, PewDiePie was in the fight of his life against a music channel called T-Series. I think everybody probably knew what was going on here. This fight was a battle for the world's most subscribed channel. Mr. Beast decided to step in and made a video in which he said PewDiePie 100,000 times in one sitting. This video was nearly 12 hours long. However, it subsequently gained both him and PewDiePie over 400,000 subscribers each in 2 days, which was a huge number for any channel, even a channel as big as them. This was a notable time for Mr. Beast, as in my opinion, this was around the exact time he stopped doing things just for views and for the shock factor, and started doing things because he genuinely cared about what he was doing. Yes, he was raking in an incredible amount of views and an incredible amount of money. However, he would never be able to do half the stuff he wanted to if he wasn't. After the PewDiePie war was over, he and Pewds admitted defeat, Mr. Beast started putting out more and more videos seemingly trying to do good in the world. $100,000 given to a homeless man, $1 million given away to various people, streamers, YouTubers, other people, buying a homeless man a house, donating $100,000 to streamers with 0 views. The list goes on. He changed lives. Like, could you imagine being one of the streamers with 0 views, wondering if you're ever going to make it, and then Mr. Beast rocks up and gives you $100,000? Your life would be changed for a while. You're set up for a little while, assuming you're living with your parents. You've got a setup built out of that, you know? One of the biggest things I saw people say on this subject, however, is that's cool, but he could do those things without making the videos. He could do those things without showing it off. And I think that ultimately misses the point. No, he couldn't. I don't think he could nearly do any of the stuff that he did without making videos on it. See, Mr. Beast is first and foremost an entertainer. His entire income and his entire donatable wealth comes from YouTube, donations, and sponsorships. If he was going around giving out wealth and didn't film any of it, then he in turn wouldn't receive wealth back. He wouldn't receive sponsorships. He wouldn't receive money for it, and he wouldn't be able to keep doing it. What Mr. Beast has done is create a worldwide recognized brand, a name that everybody was saying about donating money. And if he hadn't filmed all of the events he'd done, he wouldn't have made it that far. And that's what leads me into what I'm calling Mr. Beast Part 2. trying to change the world. See, almost 2 years ago now, MrBeast started a charity drive, Team Trees. I think everybody has heard of Team Trees because every YouTuber was talking about it. It was all over everything. The idea of Team Trees was that for every $1 donated, they would plant 1 tree. Team Trees raised over $20 million. That's 20 million trees. Now, I'm gonna step back and remember the phrase, he could do it without filming it. Could you imagine if MrBeast hadn't built up this essentially empire, if he hadn't created this name for himself, if he wasn't known for the things that he had done? If he had tried to start Team Trees, the outcome would have been drastically different and perhaps even disappointing. So many less YouTubers would have been talking about it. So many less people would know about Team Trees. It wouldn't be where it is now. Nothing would have happened because nobody would have known who MrBeast was. Now, MrBeast continues to do incredible things for people in need. Team Trees was ultimately only the beginning of this. He donated 1 million meals to food banks, and he's even been opening his own food banks. He has started MrBeast food banks and is doing drives to improve that. And none of this would have happened if nobody had heard of him. On his Twitter, he said, "I want to build other channels like Beast Gaming and Beast Reacts so I can run my main channel at a loss and grow as big as possible, and then use my main channel's influence to one day open hundreds of homeless shelters, food banks, and give away all the money." And I believe him. I believe that that is his end goal. I believe he will accomplish it. I think he is on his way there. He has opened up multiple other channels. He's opened up Beast Philanthropy so that he can do more in improving the lives of as many people as he can. I am so thankful that people have heard his name, because if they hadn't, he wouldn't have been able to achieve this much good. In this modern day, YouTube is painted pretty bad, let's be honest. It's got a stigma behind it, and that's because we have a lot of huge YouTubers who are absolute jerks. I mean, I'm not gonna say any names. I think you guys already know what particular floofy-haired blonde YouTubers I'm perhaps talking about. But there are a lot of huge YouTubers that ruin it for everyone else. So when you've got someone like MrBeast who has 50 million subscribers and uses that influence to do good, to do charity drives, to inspire other people to want to do good as well, it makes YouTube as a platform a little more bearable. It makes it like a bit more homely. It makes me want to stay on this platform because other people make me not want to. I firmly believe MrBeast will be one of the most important people that comes up in the future when historians write books about YouTube. Because they will. When this whole culture has passed, when YouTube is dead and something else is taking over society and society has gone past this, YouTube will be in history books. And I think MrBeast will be one of the biggest entries in the whole of that book. PewDiePie is going to be there for sure, but I think MrBeast being one man that single-handedly did so much, I think he's gonna make history. I think that's the case, and I am so happy to be alive in a time where I can watch MrBeast make history. I am so happy to be alive in a time where we can watch him do good on the platform that we all use. Because ultimately, us using that platform is giving him the power to be able to do good. And that's amazing. That's an incredible thing. And that's why I think everybody knowing who MrBeast is, even if you're sick of hearing his name because you've heard it so much, it's a good thing that you have heard his name. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.